What's up to Hustlenomics podcast, man? It's episode number 12. Man, we got Merrick. What's up, Merrick? How you living?
I'm living fantastic.
Who we got with us today, man?
Man, we got Savion Miller. And not only is he involved in real estate, we also were college roommates. So,
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
yeah.
Y'all go back, man. Y'all go back.
Red Raiders.
Yeah. But Savion, we all want to know, how did you get started in the real estate industry, man?
I mean, you.
Me?
I remember one day you asked me to go to a wholesaling meetup. I didn't know what wholesaling was, but I always understood real estate. So I'm like, shit, you spending your time on it. Let me at least go. I ain't doing shit else. Excuse me. And yeah, I mean,
Merrick's world, man. Merrick's world. No cussing, man.
Yeah.
It's all good, but no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it made sense when we was there, and I just stuck to it. And I saw that, a lot of people retire themselves early from it, or just can have some good supplemental income from it. So I just stuck with it.
No, that's dope. That's dope.
that's pretty
man.
much-
So, how'd you get into your first deal? What was the path to get to where you at now?
The first deal, I would say, really networking.
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of big on, if you don't have the money to go out and get a deal, you can still talk to some people, find out what they like, and then just go from there. You know what I mean? We have the internet now. You have YouTube that you can go find out how to do anything you want, and you just stay adamant about the day-to-day operations. Have a routine, stick to the routine. Get on the phone, call, get outside, meet people, shake hands, kiss babies. You know how it is. Always be networking. And when somebody gives you a criteria, what they're looking for, the area they're looking for, dial in on that. Always follow up with them, and pretty much the success is going to come out.
So you was wholesaling in a sense. You was finding deals for people.
Right. Finding deals.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So yeah, finding deals pretty much for people.
Yeah.
When I got back to Houston, it was more so. I figured out, hey, look, this is more so like a job. Real estate was interesting to me from the passive aspect of it, and so I kind of pivoted from doing the wholesaling to trying to do the multifamily. I'm still learning about the multifamily now, just kind of looking at how much money you need to have to do the due diligence process, from the money you need to raise, just the experience. And so
like syndication, like
exactly, real estate syndication.
Gotcha.
And so I kind of went, to a lot of meetups, multifamily meetups. I remember we were just at the Disrupt Equity meetup maybe like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And it's really finding their criteria. They're and the thing with multifamily syndications, they want to do deals. So if you find a good deal, and you send it to them, they'll be willing to partner with you for sure.
So what's your criteria for multifamily? Because you find a property, you can put it underneath contract yourself, but for multifamily, typically what letter of intent?
Yeah, so for me, 75 units to 120 units is pretty much with my sweet spot. I want to stay here in Houston just because I want to be able to drive locally to the property.
For a 75 unit or above, how would you take that down for the people who don't know about apartment syndication?
Echo, turn off alarm. My bad.
Um,
All right,
Okay,
I cut
technical
it out.
difficulties,
I cut it
y'all.
out. My
It's
bad.
cool.
so go
How would
ahead.
you take that down?
So if we're talking off market, if it's a broker deal, pretty much you just ask for the rent roll T12. If you can get a T6 from them, that's going to be a little bit more accurate because it shows the latest performance of the property, right?
12 is 12 years. T6 is 6 months. Or what's
12? It's a year. So T12 is 12 months, and
12
then
months.
a T6 is 6 months.
Gotcha.
And then you look through the rent roll. Obviously take a look at the offering memorandum, but it's going to be a little fluff in there with the pro forma because they're trying to sell the property, right?
So these are on market deals.
Yeah, some of them, if they're some brokers give you some pocket listings, but it's a little hard if you don't have any deals. You know what I mean? Like, these are these brokers' reputation. If they're going to entertain you, they need to know that you can close.
Right.
So a lot of times they may send you some deals that they have that's been sitting for a while, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not a good deal.
Right.
So and the reason I stick from 75 to 120, typically a 75 unit, you can house an on-site property manager, you can have on-site maintenance, and you won't be battling those institutional investors where
Gotcha.
you can't really compete with them because they have a track record. The brokers are sending them the deal before they even list it. So it's like you kind of want to find a sweet pocket to get in. And like I said, I just want that passive money is what got me interested in.
How do you verify that the property manager is solid? Like that he's not just going to be a property manager who doesn't know how to manage tenants and he won't effectively take care of your asset. How do you vet the property managers and make sure you don't have to find someone else?
Well, you look at the performance of the property. If the rents are well below market, if they're $200 off below market, you can go on Google, check out the reviews of what the tenants, what the people are actually on there saying. You know what I mean? That's pretty much it. And it is tricky with property management companies, but I find it that when you're starting out, third party, right? Because it's just when you're learning how to operate an apartment building, that's something in and of itself. But when you're learning, you're trying to put being a property manager on top of that, then you know what I mean. Like you're overworking yourself. So
really, so you would not advise anyone because I manage my own properties right now. So you wouldn't advise individual owner to manage their own apartment complex.
Well, if it's your first 75 unit deal, I wouldn't do that. Obviously down the line, you want to get everything vertically integrated because you're going to save yourself money and you're going to be able to have more control, over your property.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, and they have the third party property management companies, like a Waterton, like a Great Star, like a Pinnacle. Those are the big names, and the thing is with these property management companies, when you bring in a new one, when you take over a property, a lot of times they will do your due diligence for you. They'll look through the rent rolls when you go on site and handle a lot of that stuff so that that cost doesn't come out of your pocket because you're going to hire them to manage the property. So they're going to be there. So this is kind of some stuff that they need to know on the front end. It's kind of like know what you're getting yourself into. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's just like, my thing is underwriting. So I bought Michael Blanc's underwriting tool. I think it's I bought it for like $100. He updates it every year. There's a new version. And when you plug in the numbers, it allow you to, adjust the rate of return. It allow you to change your prefs and all that kind of stuff. And it's a great tool. It's Michael Blanc's deal syndicate.
It's for syndication only?
Yeah, syndicated deal analyzer. Gotcha. And it'll let you know. It'll give you
Excel?
all the returns.
Excel is
it's Excel. And Michael Blanc, he designed it. I think he was an engineer background, but it's a great tool. A lot of people use that.
Speaking of engineers, my friend Terrence over here, he's getting his master's? PhD?
Yeah, master's.
He's getting his master's in engineering. So
okay.
Yeah. Shout out Terrence.
Oh yeah, for sure. Appreciate it.
And then there's Charles Seaman. He has an underwriting class every single Saturday. Every Saturday, if you find a deal and you reach out to him during the week, he'll take that deal and underwrite it.
In the class?
In the class. It's on Zoom. And I pull up the Excel while I'm watching it because it's always practice. He operates out of North Carolina, but
it's Zoom?
Yeah, it's on Zoom, and it starts at 3:00 every Saturday, and it may go about 2 hours, but we go through the whole process, why it's a deal, why it's not a deal, plug in numbers, and it's a great resource to use, and it's free. You don't pay anything for it.
So he has an analyzer himself?
He has the same Michael Blanc syndicated deal analyzer.
Got you. So a lot of people use it.
Yeah, a lot of people use it.
Dope.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's for $100, and the updates are free.
He does a live class every single Saturday?
Every Saturday.
Dope.
So his name's Charles Seaman. And he owns some units. He operates out of North Carolina, but I believe he owns north of 800 units. So he knows what he's talking about. Real cool guy. A guy you can just hit him up on Instagram.
So you talked to him before?
Yeah.
The Zoom Live is like interactive?
Okay. You can ask questions. You can
cameras on, everyone cameras on, like going through it? Or
some people have their cameras off. But And I've met him in person a few times at certain events. He's very active. And if anybody's looking to do multifamily, that's just the basics of
tool.
it. It's the basics. Just get the analyzer, start getting on there, start meeting with brokers and stuff like that. There will be some upfront costs, and that kind of led me to development. I've been a private lender for about 1.5 years, 2 years.
Talk about that. Let's backtrack. How'd you get, because you kind of skipped and said syndication from wholesaling. So what was the journey? What was the in-between to kind of get to where you are now?
So I was actually working in property management, and I was with Great Star. And so...
how many units were you managing?
We were, I want to say, about 260 units. was pretty much what we were doing.
That's impressive.
That's a mid-rise, right? Sort of, kind of.
Yeah, pretty much. And
But that's all they do, mid-rises, right? Greystar, they do nice
they
stuff.
do nice stuff. Yeah. And this was a property that DR Horton built. It was a lease up. And what a lease up is pretty much they may, develop a subdivision and then there's a little land left. And so they'll just build an apartment, put a property management in there, lease it all up to 90% plus occupancy and sell it off.
Wow.
That's pretty much what they were doing. And I had a guy who was doing his due diligence there. He was on the due diligence team and he actually worked for the private lending firm. And he was like, man, you know a lot about numbers and this and that. Can I put you in contact with somebody? And I did a Zoom interview, man. Kind of got to know him a little bit, and they offered me a job on the
Really?
spot. And,
So how much of a learning curve did you have to get? Or
I would say the learning curve wasn't necessarily like understanding how that works, but understanding like the new Excel tool, putting a loan structure together. Because now you dealing with loan to cost, loan to value, origination points, interest rates, and you need to be able to understand a deal 100%, the feasibility of the project. They have a thing in private lending, in lending in general, called the 5 C's of lending. And it's pretty much how a lender would look at a borrower and a project. And the 5 C's, you got your character, your credit, cash, collateral, and your capacity.
Are your 5 C's for both? Are they similar for both residential and commercial deals?
Yeah, pretty much. It's how a lender. So
that's dope.
That's pretty much what you need to think about, especially like as an investor, because that's how the lender is going to look at you when you come. What's the feasibility of your project? If you building a project out in the middle of nowhere, Texas, and you expecting it to sell, fairly quickly, and I get on the MLS or I look at the data and I see that the average home sits on the market for 8, 9, 10 months, and you have a 12-month loan, it doesn't make sense. If I'm looking at your deal and your ROI is less than 20%, do I want to risk that money? You know what I mean? Right. Our job isn't only to make money as a lender.
Your job is to protect the money.
Right. We want to protect our money, but we want to protect the borrower as well, because if he or she has a successful project, the likelihood for them coming back to get it exponentially increases, right? Versus they got burned on a deal. And when people get upset and they lose money, the blame game might come around. So it's just like we are in the business to make money, but it's hard for a lender to make money if the client doesn't make money.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Right.
So that's just something to think about. And so when I'm doing it, I'm looking at all these construction budgets. I'm looking through these architectural plan sets. I'm opening title. Pretty much the whole nine. I'm talking to these appraisers, reviewing appraisal reports. I just decided, I'm like, man, I can do this.
So you was doing this with Greystar?
Well, I wasn't doing the new construction stuff with Greystar. It's a whole
But you was
different
like
company.
looking through, like,
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. So
that's how you got the knowledge. You had the interest,
right?
You wasn't just leasing out properties. You was actually
like I was there for a reason, because I knew I wanted to own property.
Managing,
right?
Yeah,
so I'm like, okay, this is how this. Because some things you're not going to learn unless you do.
Right.
You can look at all the videos, you can read, you listen to all the podcasts, the books, but you got to go out and make mistakes, because that's the real learning. You know what I mean? So.
That's good, man.
Right.
You got the game, man.
And so
that's what's up.
Yeah, and so from there, man, I started looking at lots and stuff. Really kind of talking to, when I would talk to clients, pretty much a lot of my clients are builders and developers. So I would talk to them, ask them certain questions. Hey, what do you look for in a lot? Why are these lots so cheap compared to these lots? He's like, you have to put septic in that area. This area is already city connected to sewer, water, electricity. I would go up there as opposed to spending the extra 15, 16 grand to put it in. That's why the price is lower, because they've already subtracted that out, that you got to put septic in there. So,
a lot of stuff.
Me and a buddy of mine, we, put a LLC together, went out, bought a lot, and I hired a builder that I trusted, that builds in that area, that I've closed loans with him, that I've seen his product. I know he can do what I know he can do it. We got the contract stuff together, got the closed on the loan, and it was off to the races from there. And so the plan is just to really continue to do that.
So y'all JV'd on it?
Yeah, we joint ventured on that.
How long did the project last?
So we're currently still building right now. We closed in July.
Man, congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Congrats.
We closed in July. We just finished permitting not too long ago. So now it's pretty much concrete framing and getting that up. And it's in Horseshoe Bay, Texas, which is about 45 minutes north of Austin, in Texas Hill Country. So it's a resort. It's right under Lake Lyndon B. Johnson. It's like a retirement area pretty much, but Airbnbs are popular out there. And so it was just a beautiful area.
What's your end goal for once this new build is completed?
So we're going to sell it. We're going to sell this, and then
what is it again?
It's a 2-story, 3-bed, 2-bath.
Okay.
It's got lake view, so it's going to have a lake view.
Yeah.
So we plan to sell that, and then the proceeds we're going to come out here, and I'm just going to buy an acres home in 5th Ward and develop duplexes, develop townhomes,
that's dope.
And that's pretty much. And I'm going to take that income from there and go all in on the apartments.
So how'd y'all do the JV? If you don't mind me asking.
So what we did, we raised some money. We needed about
To get the land?
Yeah, so pretty much the way we structured our loan, we have the land purchase and the construction, right? So the construction is about $350,000 to build, and that's counting the GC fee as well. And then we have our interest reserve. We have about $20,000 in interest reserve, and then we got $20,000 up front at closing to cover permitting, lot clearing, pre-ordering of materials and stuff like that. And then for those of you who might not know what interest reserve is, it's basically like it's in the name. It's like it's reserved to make your interest payments.
Right.
So like we could tap into that first and deplete that, and then use our money out of pocket.
Right.
Or because typically construction loans are interest only. So
Right.
they're fairly small. If if you have 20,000, you're paying 10.5% on 20,000. So that's nothing to pay. But once you start to get to 200,000, 260, and those payments jump, then that's something that can kind of keep you afloat. That way you can keep your project going.
Right. So you took out a loan for the land, you took out a loan for the construction costs, and interest only payments.
Yeah, right. And it's all bundled. So like you have a loan to value of what the lot's worth, and then you have a loan to marketable resale value. So after the home is built, it's a certain percentage that they'll give you. And then the LTC, which is a loan to cost, or what the cost of the construction is. Right. And it's just a blended structure pretty much between all three. And, whatever they tell you need to close, I mean, I think like I said, our cash to close was like, I think $40,000 or something like that. That's not bad. And yeah, it's not bad at all.
It's not bad
at all.
So, so the 30-40, that's the cash to close. So is that going to be the fees that you're going to be paying to your realtor, or is that going to be the profit? I didn't catch that part.
So the cash to close is just to take down the land and get the construction loan.
Like your 5%, 20%
Exactly.
to kind of buy a house.
Got it.
It's just like for construction.
Exactly.
You gotta have some type of sweat equity in there based upon
land
parameters, build parameters, and all of it.
And a lot of times, man, builders and developers, they buy land cash because you can come in with equity and not pay anything at closing to get a house built, to get something built. That's very common. A lot of builders do that. That's actually a better strategy a lot of times.
I honestly didn't know that.
So
that's interesting.
And typically it's bigger builders and stuff like that. People who are more experienced, but I mean, if you can go out and find an off-market lot and pay $50,000 for it and bring that and not bring anything to the closing table and just make interest payments, and you're going to be out the property in less than 12 months, why not do it?
Right.
Okay. So you say your end goal is to sell off this piece of property. So once you sell off this new construction, what apartment are you targeting? How many units? What?
It's 75 to 120.
So still 75 to 120.
75 to 120.
Okay.
I feel like it's kind of manageable for me. Like I said, the competitions, I feel like it's not going to be there. I want to say, C+, B- is what we're looking at anywhere in the Houston MSA. I'm not opposed to any areas. I'll take a look at the property no matter where it's at. If the numbers make sense, the numbers make sense. If the seller's willing to play ball, I'm willing to play ball with them. And so you look at how the markets are changing, how they've, what home prices were, what apartments cost 6 months ago looks so much different now, being that the Fed has hiked up interest rates.
So what's going on in the apartment where I haven't been caught up?
So I mean, so what you're seeing is you're seeing a lot of apartments that are being sold by these brokers. Now all of a sudden they have the price. Beforehand, I've looked at a lot. It was always where the price section was. It said market. So you would have to ask the broker, what's the whisper price? You know, what's the seller talking to you? Like, what's he feeling comfortable with? Now they all have the prices next to them, so that's an indicator that, you know, these sellers, they're starting to come down to reality, and they're starting to see, like, hey, if I have an adjustable rate mortgage, I need somebody to come and get this, because I mean, like I said, the feds they keep hiking the rates up.
Right.
They're supposed to have another meeting before the year is over, and that's expected to go up 75 basis points.
Are interest rates similar for commercial as they are residential? Because I know residential interest rates are hovering around 8% right now. So it's like, is commercial similar?
I mean, yeah, I would say underwriting about at a 6.5, 7, you'll be sitting there, you'll be safe. I would say 7% is more conservative, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. And so when you take that into account, and you really understand, that's, especially me being a lender, we work on the secondary market as well. So a lot of times, you know, these lenders, they're borrowing money too. You know what I mean? They have institutional money so if they're getting charged more, the clients has to get charged more.
Right.
So maybe 6 months ago you can get a 7.99 interest rate, an 8% interest rate. But right now you're sitting at a 10%, 10.5%, 11%. You know, and if you don't have any experience, some lenders may you're going to pay for it. You might pay 12% in 3 points. And some lenders are like, nah, I can't take that risk, because if I can't sell this loan and it's got to sit on my books, that's less money I can lend out. You know what I mean? So
if you're saying 12% now for a newbie, do they do fixed rate? Like, how long are the fixed rate terms? You know what I'm saying?
So typically, I mean, if you're doing a fix and flip, you're going to get a 12-month loan. A new construction, about a 15-month, depending. If you're building multiple houses, then they may go up to 18 or 24. I'm working on a deal right now in Sugar Land, 2.5 acres, 30 homes that the guy's wanting to build, and we're giving them a 24-month term.
No, but what I was saying is, for our apartment complex, how long would be the longest terms that you could get? You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be a buy and hold investor.
Yes. So typically, I mean, you'll get maybe, let's say, 5 years, 3 years IO. So that's interest only. IO is interest only. A lot of business plans for investors, they want to get in and get out. It's essentially like flipping a house. You want to get in, see where you can raise the rates at. If you need raise the rents, if you need to fire the property manager, get it in to run right. If you need to put in a dog park or put in some covered parking to be able to get more income to, raise the value of the building. Yeah. If if you got some deferred maintenance you need to do, make it pretty, put some lipstick on it, that may take 24 months, and you sell in year 3, and then you go on to the next deal.
What about people who want to hold forever? What about people who are like, man, I want to buy this apartment and I want to give this to my kids.
Right.
And what's it called? What's that where you leave it and they don't pay taxes?
Trust.
Yeah, I trust, but there's something where your kids inherit your assets. They don't pay taxes at all. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Will trust what?
No, I just don't remember the name.
But I mean, you would just refinance into a long-term DSCR loan. Okay. Pretty much, that's what you would do.
Yeah, and their rates are higher too then.
Well, so
not hard money, right? But
so a long-term loan, like a 30-year fix, is always going to be lower than a 12-month.
Right.
So once you refinance out and you get into a long-term loan, I mean, at that point, like you said, if you want to hold it forever, and pay it off, go ahead and pay it off. But most of the time, syndications, they expect their money back in a certain amount of time. Right. They want the return. So, if you gain enough experience and you make enough money out the business to go out and go get you 100, 200 unit just by yourself, or a small team that y'all all on the same page and we want to hold this, then hey, cool. You know what I mean? It works.
So it's two different strategies. So you got the syndicators, they in and out, and then you got sometimes the long-term people that hold. Like the
𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐧𝐭 of the world, the LaFracs.
Right.
They own a lot of property, in the East Coast outright. Their family been in the business for years.
Right.
So, and that's a great strategy now. Don't get me wrong, but if we're talking syndications, what everybody talks about that's popular right now, all the real estate guys, they're in and out of deals.
So what's your end goal? Are you just trying to do apartment syndications indefinitely, or are you trying to hold some forever?
Both. I want to do syndications. I want to get into some forever. I want to be an active general partner. I want to invest passively. There's not just one thing that I want to do now. In terms of focus, owning apartments is like the end goal. So whatever that looks like I said, if that's holding some long term, getting in some syndications, getting in, getting out, getting a lump sum check, being able to go out and buy more, buy bigger, do larger deals, then hey, so be it. If somebody comes to me with a deal and say, hey, I need 50,000, I need 100,000, cool. Let me look at it. Let me take a look at it. And that's pretty much where I'm going to go.
I think
with
the
that.
key is, man, for me, and the hardest part is underwriting, man. That's the hardest part, underwriting your own deals, man. So it seems like you.
But you need to. When you get that, the thing with Michael Blanc that I love, when you buy the syndicated deal analyzer, he has a training module where he takes a deal, puts it in there. You know what I mean? And once you get that general understanding, you an engineer. It should come quick.
Right.
Then hop in Charles Siemens. His underwriting, because it's actual real deals. They're not like 9-month-old deals. You know what I mean? And if you find something out here in Houston and you have questions about your underwriting skills, give it to him. Because sometimes I've underwrote deals with him on Wednesdays that he's taking time out of his day to sit one-on-one with me on Zoom, and we walk through a deal together.
Any of them were good, or
sounds like a solid dude.
Yeah,
were any of them good? Like that you sent to him?
So there were some good deals, but the prices weren't there. You know what I mean? The owner wanted a little too much. So that's just something, you know what I mean? Like, you just got to be proactive in this thing, man. Like, the consistency, you're going to gain the confidence if you're being consistent in doing it.
Right.
If you underwriting one deal every 2 weeks, you know what I mean? Of course it's going to be hard. You know what I mean? I would say you need to be looking at least 3 deals a week. You don't have to underwrite a deal every single day, but you need to be looking at least 3 deals a week, and maybe be able to sit down with Charles and go through to make sure your underwriting is correct. Make sure, whatever your assumptions are on any of those line items are right. Make sure you can understand what questions you need to ask. Because the thing is, when you underwrite, you're not like, whatever you come to, that's not what you're going to offer. That's just, you have questions that you can go ask the broker, because that's the most important thing. If a broker gives you a deal, underwrite it as fast as possible. I would say, hey, look, I'll have something back to you in 48 hours. And you want to have some questions for him, him or her. Email them, call, and go through and get those questions answered.
What are the typical questions?
I mean,
like when you underwrite a commercial property, you looking at roof, AC units, rent rolls, tenants. What are the typical questions you ask yourself?
So I mean,
or it's literally a sheet. I'm pretty sure you got like a checklist that you go through, but
yeah. So like,
what's your thought process?
I'm looking at if there's any discrepancies like in the expenses, because that's really where the bread and butter is. You know what I mean? If the expenses are super low, like if it's a 100 unit and the expenses are like 32%, that's super low. So I'm you might have some questions about why is the insurance this low? Real estate taxes, you can go check that on the appraisal district and see what those taxes are. If that doesn't match up, if they're on the offering memorandum, he might be using some comps that are, this property that we're underwriting, the subject property is 1975. He might be trying to compare it to a 1990s property that's in a whole different side of town. So it's just like, like really common questions that you won't understand until you start getting active and looking at deals in the market.
Right.
And then once you hit a broker with some questions, they're gonna know, okay, this dude knows what he's talking about.
Right.
And what you can do is you can verify some of that stuff by calling a property management company in that area, because they manage the properties there. So they're gonna you can say, hey, can you take a look at this T12? Can you take a look at this rent roll and give me your idea? Can you give me an idea of this area? And they'll let you know that. So it's just like really utilizing this phone right here.
That's a good idea. I've never thought about
it. That's something simple that you can do on Google. And once you have your procedures and process, your SOPs down, at that point it's just following it on a day-to-day. Because as you keep doing that, you're going to know where you need to pivot inside your business model, your business plan, and always be networking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once you get a list, that's the good thing about doing podcasts. You guys have these dudes' emails. Always email blasting them. Hey, I found a deal. Because even if they don't want the deal, they may know somebody who wants the deal. You get what I mean? So that's the power of utilizing an email marketing campaign. You can always follow up with them that way. And that's just something that, you know, even if you don't want to do that, you can hire somebody to do that for you. You can get on Fiverr.com and find out anything that you want. If you want a virtual assistant to do cold calls for you, find it out. If you have a list of LLCs you want skip traced, you can hire somebody on there to do it. They'll give you contact name, email, phone numbers. You know what I mean? It's really like, if you want to do this, you're going, and it's never been easier to do.
Right.
Because you can sit down in one spot on your laptop anywhere and get it done. You get what I mean? So
that's a great mindset.
That man love Fiverr. He
Yeah,
probably
I
done
do.
gave him probably
I was about to
$5,000
say,
this year.
I was like this man Rip, but I'm like, hey, all the editing for our video, for all the thumbnails used to come from Fiverr.
yeah, Fiverr, Upwork is another one.
Upwork.
You can kind of target specifics. But
Which one is better? You know, on Fiverr it's a million different people. You got like your go-to.
So Upworks, if you have if you're getting a website built or something like that, or you want an interactive site, I would go Upworks,
Right.
because you put what exactly you want. If you want HTML, Python, C++, like if that's the kind of website that you're going, that's the kind of programming you need, they're going to hit you up and give you their resume. Versus a lot of, you know, when you're on Fiverr, you're looking at their reviews, and, you know, I always ask for a reference no matter what. If I'm hiring you to do cold calls, who have you worked with in the past 3 months that can verify, you know.
And you call them up.
And I call them, shoot them an email. How was it like working with this person?
How you know if it's not like a fake account, or you kind of don't?
You don't really know.
You but at least you kind of filter.
You try to Google them, see who they are, try to get on LinkedIn. And the thing is, if somebody's not online and they have a business, that's a kind of a red flag. You know what I mean? Because in today's world, if you're not online and you're not on social media, essentially you don't really exist.
Right.
That's people, you know, when you go out and you meet a girl somewhere, y'all gonna get on Instagram and you're gonna check through her Instagram. It's at this point in day and age, it's weird if they don't have the social media platforms. You
like
get what I mean? Right. So it's like, you know, trust but verify. And unfortunately, the only way you can verify is looking for them on social media, looking for them online, trying to see if they have an address, you know. So, and then you just kind of go from there, pretty much.
No, that's what's up.
Beautiful. All right, Savion.
This man got that game, man. He been doing it. I can see you down a couple years, man. You gonna own you a couple of them,
man.
And syndicating.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Man.
You already told us where you wanted to go, where your end vision is. I want to know, before we end this thing, you got any recommendations, any sites, any resources that the viewers could use to help them get further along in their vision?
I would say, if you're obviously, okay, we're gonna go. If you're looking to do new construction, even if you're looking to buy a home in an area, use the FEMA flood map. It's free. You can check to see if it's in a flood zone. That's that's the first thing I would do if you're getting a lot. Before you do any type of underwriting, check the FEMA flood map to see if it's in a flood zone. Because
flood zone, no go.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say no go. It just kind of depends on where you're at. You know what I mean? If you're new, if you haven't done this a lot, stay away from that, because it's going to be more expensive. So you're going to have to get a civil engineer for the architectural plans. The permitting a lot of times takes a lot longer. You know what I mean?
Why do you? Oh, I got you.
Yeah, and so you know, the Texas A&M Real Estate Center is a great resource to use. It's free.
It's a website?
Yeah, it's a website.
Gotcha.
And it's a Texas A&M Real Estate Center. And it's a respected site. You can get a lot of market data on there, especially when markets change. You want to look at data. Data is going to be your best friend. You know, you can't rely on what your buddy told you. He sold something 6 months ago, 4 months ago, when we're in a totally different market right now. You get what I mean? We're in a shift. So I would say, and then another resource to use.
And you gave us some throughout the podcast.
I mean, obviously your county appraisal district.
Yeah,
you get what I mean? That's just something that you can. I would always save that. I would always save that to PDF to have in the file, just to look at, to verify whoever's selling you or talking about they own the property, that they're there. And then I would say the last thing, man, would be YouTube. You know what I mean? YouTube.
Who your top people on YouTube? I know that's probably changing a lot. But you probably got your
honestly,
go-tos.
I listen to one person on YouTube.
Really?
And that's 𝐥𝐤𝐬𝐬.
𝐥𝐤𝐬𝐬
at Old Capital.
I heard they're in Dallas.
Yeah,
right?
They're in Dallas. Old Capital in Dallas. 𝐥𝐤𝐬𝐬, man, the stuff he puts on YouTube shouldn't be free.
What does that man do?
So he works as pretty much essentially what I do for what my company, but he works with apartments. He invests passively in apartments. He real smart dude. He's actually from Houston, but he lives in Dallas, and he teaches you about multifamily financing. And how to really look at a deal, how to structure one, the different loan options that you have. Your Fannie, Freddie, CMBS gives you the pros and cons of both. How to apply the right financing to the deal, because you can have a great deal, but you made the wrong choice when it comes to financing. So his what he's doing is phenomenal online. Like I said, and a lot of people put a lot of breadcrumb type of information to get you to buy a course or something down the line. Yeah. He just gives it all right. He just gives it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what's up.
I definitely gotta check this dude out.
Yeah, and
I heard a lot about Old Capital. Them guys in Dallas,
they're solid,
That's
man. And I would say, I mean, that's pretty much the number ones that I use, other than the syndicated deal analyzer. If you're looking to do syndications and you don't have it, James has like he has his own version too. I use both, but when I'm seriously underwriting a deal,
right,
I put it through Michael's. You know what I mean? It's so much more intensive. Yeah. He's an engineering background, so you know how y'all are with perfectionists. So yeah, that's just something.
This man is a perfectionist, by the way.
Yeah,
man, I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
But yeah, man, that's pretty much how it is. Like once you identify what you need to do, go out, get the information, go build the relationships, and stay proactive on a day-to-day.
So I just want, before we wrap up, man, I just want to say, man, like, you knew that you was using like your road getting into like apartments and stuff as a stepping stone,
right?
But somehow, some way, that door opened up. But I gotta give me an interview,
right?
Like, did you see that coming? Like,
I didn't at all. I never.
Like, what's your mindset behind like going forward? That's I want to get in your side.
I really looked up because honestly, like I said, I never would have thought I would be in private lending.
But did you really luck up, man? Because think about it, how much effort you're putting into it.
Right.
We met at that networking event.
Right.
But how much effort have you put in? You analyzed deals. You worked at a property management company.
Right.
So you didn't luck up. You put so much effort in, you got a return.
Right. Hey, I can argue with that.
Man, I love it, man, because it's like you was building to go forward, and then next thing you know, somebody opened the door and say, hey, you working to go this way? Here you go.
Right.
Next, it's going to be like, somebody else open the door. Like one of them guys you on the Zoom with every day. Next thing you know, they're going to be like, man, we need you.
Yeah, I kind of created my own look, right?
Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you ain't had them skills, man.
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't have been open.
Hey, before we end this, hey, Savion. Savion's a realtor, so we want to know.
Realtor too?
Yeah.
You do it all.
Man, he sold me my first house.
You get an origination fee, and you get the realtor fee.
Hey, Terrence.
Can I eat too, man? Let me be one of them, man.
Hey, this man sold me my first house, by the way.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
But, hey, let's tell the people how they can get in contact with you.
Yeah, man. Instagram at Real Estate Say. You can follow me on TikTok. Spell
that. Say
SAY. So just Real Estate Say.
We're going to put that in the bottom.
You can always email me at millersay@gmail.com. If you're looking to do a fix and flip project or a new construction project, you can hit me up, smiller@streamlinefunding.com. And then you can always reach me on my cell phone, man, 408-480-2640.
Beautiful.
Call my mans with deals, man.
Yeah, send them through, man. I love to take a look at them. I love to, if you stuck somewhere, you need help.
You do all of them? You do single family all the way up to multi?
Yeah, single family. So we can put a single family. You're doing a fix and flip and you need some comps. I can help you out with that. If you need a budget, I have blank budgets that I can give to you that you can always give to your GCs, to your builders. If you want me to look through some architectural plans, I can help you out. I'm here to provide value to anybody.
That's what's up, man.
That's beautiful.
That's what's up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode number 12 of the Hustlenomics podcast. We're signing out. Peace.
Peace.